right, so when I make my steak and chicken kebabs, I like to make a marinade for them. So let me show you, and you can marinate maybe 30 minutes to an hour up to overnight. We are putting some citrus in it, so you really don't want to go too long, but overnight is fine. But at least an hour, I say an hour. So what I like to do is juice some oranges. If you have lemons or limes, that is also perfect. Even pineapple juice, just something kind of citrusy to break that meat and get it a little tenderized. So I'm gonna put those here so that we can get those all nice and juiced. I'm going to measure out some ingredients. So obviously we wanna put some garlic and onion in our marinade. So I'm gonna cut some of that fresh, put it in each little bag, one for chicken, one for steak. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some olive oil, soy sauce. I've got some liquid smoke, one of our favorite items to add to something. When I can't grill, I'm gonna cook it inside, and we use a charcoal grill, so we love that smoky flavor, so we just substitute sometimes. A little Worcestershire, and I am gonna throw some Dales just for a little sodium kind of fun, flavorful kick. So I'm gonna add all those into these bags. I'm gonna dice everything up, juice it up, and I will show you how I get those into the marinade bags. Some extra virgin olive oil. I'm gonna do about 3 tablespoons in the chicken and probably 1.5 in the steak. I'm gonna put some balsamic. I'm gonna put it in both because that adds a really nice flavor to both chicken and steak. So I'm gonna put a tablespoon in the chicken and just a little less than, maybe half, yeah, and then just 1 for the steak. A couple of dashes and then a couple less dashes. There we go. Okay, so now I am going to crush up the garlic and onions right here. Break it up. And then put the bigger one over here in the chicken so that the meat's getting nice and marinated and ready for later. Toss that out. Okay, just not because, so probably like maybe an inch, 1.5 inches thick, and plop them right into your marinade. So we have some for our next meal. Getting those delicious flavors because, like I said, we've got an hour or up to overnight, but you know, at least an hour of marinade time so we can get it all yummy and delicious. Okay, so we are going to take our meats, zip them up, give them a good little massage so that all those yummy flavors can start getting right into the meat. The citrus can start tenderizing it, and then my favorite part, the soy sauce, can start getting in there. When you put your meat in whatever in your Ziploc bag, flip it like this so that nothing gets on the edges, so that when you do this, it's nice and clean. Anyway, I don't know where I learned that, probably TikTok. All right, so now we're gonna mix our chicken. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Get that marinated, incorporated, and all over the meat. And we'll see you in an hour. All right, so while our meat is marinating, I'm going to cut up some vegetables and fruit. Our favorite thing to add is a couple of different colored peppers. We chose not to use yellow because we're using pineapple. Pineapple on the grill or even the inside grill is got some of the best flavor. I don't know if you've tried it yet, but way worth it. And then we like the red onion just because it adds a nice bright color to the kebabs. So we'll cut those up into about inch-sized pieces so they'll slide nicely and fit alongside of the chicken and steak. So really I can do this. What I'm doing here. Pull this guy out. So we're cutting up our peppers. Like I said, we want to get them into like nice little 1-inch size pieces so that they can go right on the skewer and fit alongside of the meat. So I'm going to chop those up, rinse out these seeds. Go. Okay. I don't really like the ribs, so I cut them out. Sometimes I'll actually slice underneath them and keep the whole pepper, but We're looking for a special shape right now, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, sometimes you can get some more off of here. Yeah, baby. So we can put like this guy on there. Probably one like this. Just get that kind of bitter rib part out of there. And you got some delicious peppers. So we got the red. And now we're gonna do the green. Let me get some of you out of there. There we go, perfect. So red, check. Green, right. Get all him out of there. Get that out of there. And red, green, cut this guy all up. No, they don't have to be perfect. They're going on a skewer. Don't even worry about all that. So we got some red, we got some green. Got more red than green, but that's okay. Maybe we can get this little chunky chunk here. Anyway, doesn't have to be perfect. And then our onion. And then we can peel it and then half it, like this. So we'll peel off the pieces that we don't want to eat. You do that. Now we've got a ton of perfect sized, that's 4 in 1, perfect sized little, if they're too small, put 2 on there. There's no rules here. It's just for an enjoyable dinner. I won't use the little tiny pieces because they won't fit right on the kebabs, but you can save that and make a soup or something later. Whatever you like to do with your extra veggies. Sometimes I used to, I don't do it anymore. I gave my sister my compost box, but now I'll save them either for my sister to put in the compost bin, or she's also got chickens. So I like to layer fruits and veggies and whatever leftovers in some water and freeze it. And every time you get a new extra bunch, you put it on top, put water and freeze it, so you've got layers. Then I'll bring that over to my sister's house and she gives it to the chickens, especially on like a hot summer day. It's like a little special treat for them. So whatever you want to do with your extras, don't worry, to good use. All right, so I think we have enough onion. I like onion, so I might do one more because I'll put extra onion on my kebab. These nice big pieces. I'm separating them now just to make our kebab building experience easier later. So they're already separated and ready to go. All right, a little bit more. And last but not least, like I said, pineapple. Careful. This is so good. It adds like good sweetness, but when you cook it on a grill, charcoal, whatever, that little touch of like crispiness that it gets, so worth it. A little dash of butter and some seasoning, and you're in heaven. So let me save that guy, save you guys for later. So again, you want to cut it in cubes that are big enough to stay on the skewer, but small enough to cook with everything else. So you gotta size everything just right, if that makes sense. So let's work on, probably just peel the whole thing. So pineapples are a pain in the butt to peel. I don't think anyone's really found the best way to do it. Oops, I cut too much off. See, you either don't cut enough and you got too many little eyes, or you cut too much and you've lost a ton of pineapple. Don't worry, you can just take a bite. My snack, my cooking snack. But yeah, it's tough. I don't know, don't feel bad if you can't get it perfect. It takes some time. If you want some ginger, celery, make yourself a really healthy little pineapple shot. And then to get the chunks, I'll just cut right next to the core. I do not like the core. Make nice little slices right around it. Save this for juicing. And then again, just cut our pineapples into, let me get these little eyes off, into about, 1 inch-ish chunks so that they cook alongside of the meat, not too much. You don't want them to get soggy and fall off of the skewer. Get this all seasoned and ready to go on the skewers. So stick with me. So we're gonna go purple, green, red, and then our beautiful pineapple. yellow. But 2, because when you cut up 1 onion, or not even a full onion like we did, they cut up into many, many, many pieces. So we've got plenty. All right, so onion, shout out to McCormick, and then melted butter. Okay, so I'm adding 2 cups of rice to a pot, and I have 2 cups of water here. And this is really, really simple. I'm just using the extra long grain rice because I think that creates a nice, good stickiness. So let me show you how I make it. We want to rinse this rice probably 2 or 3 times. So, but before I cook it, I've got 2 cups of water as well, even parts, 2 cups to 2 cups. You probably need 2, 3, or even 4 rinses sometimes. You want to get it to where the water is rinsing or washing clear. So I'm going to go ahead and do that before I start cooking. So I'm going to add our 2 cups of water to try and get the rice off the edge here. So that's where I was pouring it from when I was rinsing. So got our 2 cups of water in, let's let it even out. And this part, I just like to use the back of a chopstick. Give it a stir so that it's in there even, and save the chopstick because we're gonna stir it again in a few minutes. So what we do is we turn this on high, and we're gonna wait until we see some little bubbles in here, and then I'll let you know what to do. Okay, so now we've got some little bubbles on the outside. So we're going to take the back of our chopstick and give it a nice little stir. And I'm just gonna turn it down to like medium high because my, I'm using a gas grill, and the gal who I learned this from was using an electric, so it's a little bit different of temperature control. I also have like a stainless steel pot, and it holds the temperature well, so I just don't want it to be too hot. So I turn mine down just a little bit to like medium high, and I'm gonna let the little bubbles turn into big bubbles. So you can see I'm already starting to turn into big bubbles. Once those disappear, that's when we cover it, okay? So like the gal that I learned this from, she said, don't cover it yet. We want to keep it under surveillance. So I'm gonna find her and tag her down at the bottom of this video because she taught me how to make rice, and it's turned out to be the best rice ever. All the time, every time, it's perfect. So I will show you. Here we go. Once these big bubbles disappear under the rice, so I'll show you that in just a few minutes. It's getting there pretty quick, so we'll be right back. Our big bubbles have disappeared, and I'm gonna put the lid on. What we're gonna do is leave it on here. So the big bubbles have pretty much disappeared. So I'm gonna move this to my little back burner here because this one gets too hot, but we're gonna cover it, put it on low for about 2 minutes. Once it's seasoning mix, I have some extra, so I'm gonna put it in a glass bowl, microwave it, and while it's cooking, I'll do a little basting to add some extra flavor. So we have had our indoor grill preheating. It's nice and warm. I've got that butter from earlier that I'm gonna stick in the microwave just for, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds just to get it back to buttery again. But what I'm gonna do, the way I'm gonna cook everything is I'm gonna do veggies, then steak, then chicken. We want no cross-contamination. We want everything to be nice, and my fan has to be on because our smoke detectors are really sensitive, so you wouldn't be able to hear me really talking anyways. So I'm gonna get to cooking while that's on, and I'll give you a little speed through. But basically I'm just looking for the vegetables just to sear each side, just get those yummy grill marks. Not soft, just, you know, just a hint, not as crunchy, and then have those grill marks on them, and then we'll move on to the meat. All right. So I'm turning them a few times while the grill really heats up, because I want to make sure those pineapples get cooked through. There's some nice thick chunks, and we want them to have a really good texture. So just making sure that we're cooking them long enough. So give them a few extra turns before we get those full-on grill marks, if that makes sense. Don't worry if you lose a veggie from the skewer. You can just cook it right there, right on the grill. It's no problem. Now that the pineapple's cooked for a good minute, I'm gonna turn the heat up and get a really good sear on these veggies. Stay tuned. I'm gonna turn my fan back on because now is really when the heat starts coming. All right, guys, so we are looking great here on our veggies. I mean, ooh, blistered those onions. Look at these, oh, look at these pineapples. You can't beat it. So we're gonna give it just one more little turn on each side. Come on, look at that. And then we're going to go ahead and put our vegetables here in our hotel pan. And we'll get started with the meat, but I just had to show you guys, I don't know, I call it blistered, I guess, but charred, perfectly charred onions. They look so good. That's my favorite part, is the onions, because they're sweet, they're crunchy, they're a little smoky from the grill, so can't wait. So we're gonna move these into here, probably beef up here and chicken down here, because it looks like we're gonna have enough room to do them all. Beef will just not take as long, so here we go. Chicken is looking perfect. My dog is barking. She said, "I'd like some, Mommy." So perfect, lovely skewered chicken and steak over with some skewered veggies over a bed of rice. So I'm gonna grab one that I didn't even put on there. Mostly pineapple and onion, but look at these beautiful char marks that we got from our indoor little, just a little bit of rice. And then I don't know about you guys, but I love the flavors of the meat. So I'm gonna pour a little bit of these juices on my rice and my meat and veggies. So I can just do that to the rest of this. What all that entails, and I can't wait for you to give it a try. In both, my most favorite, I'm gonna add some soy sauce. So we're gonna do one, two. Really, you want that butter to hit every veggie. So we're gonna pour it over it. Oh, yes, look at that good seasoning. Make sure we get all that in there. And then let me get my spoon. All right, so I've brought the heat down to low. Our big bubbles have disappeared, and I'm gonna put the lid on. What we're gonna do is leave it on here.
fellas just sunk about a 50-foot putt.
Wow.
Mullet boy. That's badass. Watch this.
One thing you do want to do while you are skewering the meat is try, I know when you're cutting it, you try and do it, but then when you're skewering as well, try and put similar sized pieces on the same skewer so that again, you're getting a nice even cook with all of them, because some of them, you know, if they're a little bit thinner, you can take them off of the heat a little sooner and vice versa, leave the thicker ones on a little longer. So try and even them out as much as you can as you're skewering along. One more. All right, so now that our chicken's been going for a little while, I am going to go ahead and get the steak going. The chicken should be ready in just a few minutes. but it has been turned and flipped and turned and flipped, and we'll probably do it 1 or 2 more times, but I'm gonna go ahead and get that steak started too so they can kind of be done close to the same time. In the chicken one, because I do, and also Dale's.